Hello, welcome to another video. Today we are going to go over attributes, we're going to go over damage, we're going to go over utility, and we're going to go over defensive. But before we get into that, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to go for 500 at least. And I know a lot of you are not subscribed, but it would mean the world to me if we hit that 500. So, alright, anyways, on to the video. The first set of damage attributes we're going to go over is dominance. Reason being is because, well, this is probably the easiest attribute to use. Reason being is because all you have to do is just be at full health. This affects ability damage, and it also affects melee damage. So, for example, if you want to affect melee damage, one of the sets you would use is dominance. And also, why mana pool? I'll get into that in a bit. So, this is full dom, basically pure damage, and we are doing how much? We're doing 2.4, and if we're doing 2.6, so it's not too much extra damage, but it is a lot of damage when it comes to the dom ability specifically, because the dom ability on Crimson is really powerful. So if you go ahead and over here, we're doing 10 mil. Oh gosh darn it, we're doing 9 mil. So we're doing a little bit extra damage. Well, it does scale harder the higher dom you have. It's extra damage, and reason being why you would use, for example, mana pool is where you'd get an endstone sword, and you go ahead when you add all of the mana you need. What you do is, well, first off, I need to get 10 stacks again, and you go ahead and right click on this, and there you go, 13 mil. And we are doing how much? We're doing 3.6. So I'm doing an extra million with end. So this could be useful for one tapping if you're struggling to one tap. Just extra damage if you need it. Also, this is purely just mana pool and dominance. So if you want just pure damage, this is the setup you go for melee. And okay, what about mage? Well, let's go ahead and talk about mage. Well, first off, you would want to be on-sighted, of course. I did not have the eccentric painting because that's just too expensive. Anyways, so yeah, we're doing 4.2 mil with full dom, and without it, we're just going to lower our health a bit. And then go ahead and right click. We're doing 3.8, 3.8, 3.8, 3.8. So I mean, it's not too much extra damage, but I mean, when you're already maxing out on damage, I guess this is the way to do it. There's no reason not to just do that. And besides, if I just take off my tutor, let's see how much harder it scales. So we're doing 2.2, 2.2, and then we go ahead and wait for it to heal, 2.9. So I'm basically doing 50% more damage without a pet. And yes, I'll test the sheep as well, if you're wondering. Sheep. Alright, so at full we're doing 3.3. So it is very powerful if you're not doing a lot of damage to begin with. Yeah, 2.5, 2.8, 2.8, 2.5, 2.5, and then at full health we deal 2.8. So it does make a difference. So but I mean, oh, what about mana region? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, mana region is not super useful, but I'll get into that later. But first off, we have to go over lifeline now. I mean, I don't have to explain much on lifeline. It's really self-explanatory. A stronger dom, but lifeline is only useful for Kudra, specifically because you will not get one tapped. Well, if you get hit in the last part of Kudra, you're going to get one tapped anyways, so may as well just use a lifeline. What you want to do is you want to obviously lower your health to the appropriate amount. I usually just fall half the time, so why not? And look at that, not even close. Alright, so now we're doing 1.1. Let's go ahead and heal myself real quick. There we go. Now we are going to be doing... Where is it? 1 mil. How is this not... I feel like this should be way stronger. Okay. Alright. It's 1 mil. I mean, it's not the most effective. I mean, let me lower my health again. Okay, now it's actually putting in effect. Where's the zombies? 0.2. Alright, so I'm doing 1.2, and then if we go ahead and heal ourselves. And then we go ahead and we are dealing 1 mil. So it's a 200k increase. It's not completely terrible. I mean, when doing Kudra, every extra 100k damage matters a lot. Because remember, it's 3 arrows plus another arrow, so it's super effective and it scales a lot harder, and especially with the Bottomering. But I'm not gonna get into that. You can just look up a guide and whatnot. So, but Lifeline is, well, better than Dom, obviously. It just scales harder, and overall it's just better. It is better, but it's only good if you're not going to be taking damage, of course. Like, for example, in the Part 5 Kudra, I mean, maybe in very rare cases in dungeons, but you're better off just using your Dom in dungeons and Lifeline for outside, if you're not taking damage, of course. Anyways, that's the first part done, and of course, I'm going to go over Mana Pool, which only increases mage damage. I mean, it just gives mana, it just gives intelligence, it's not that complicated. So, anyways, next we're going to go over, well, utility. Veteran and Magic Find. Veteran, super important, increases your combat wisdom. For example, this gives you 6.5, and of course the combat wisdom I would use is, well, this right here. I also have another set, but it's just a set I'm demonstrating with. But basically, you get more combat wisdom. For example, if I just go ahead, take off this equipment, and my armor, we will be getting how much combat XP from this guy? We're getting 12.8 combat XP. Alright, 12.8. And if we go ahead, switch our veteran on, let me see if I can fire it in. 2, 3, 4. And yes, this is my highest veteran equipment, which is my brew set. I don't want to hear it. And we go ahead and go back and kill the zombie again. We're getting 16 combat wisdom. Increase the 4 wisdom. This does scale higher with the higher zombies. For example, if I go ahead and take off my equipment again, it will, actually hold on, I gotta take off this. I will get 68 combat XP. But if I go ahead and put my veteran equipment on, veteran, because I was getting around 68 combat wisdom, and if I go and put this on, I will get 85. So it scales harder the more XP it is, and it's just worth investing into veteran. And Magic Find is literally just Magic Find. It increases drops. Most commonly you find Magic Find with veteran, and same with Lifeline and Mana Pool. It just increases damage with the Endstone Sword and, well, effectiveness of damage, of course. So this is just mostly common on Crimson sets because, well, most people just melee Slayers. Same thing with also one common thing that's also pretty found is Dom Magic Find for the mythological event, because most people just prefer dealing more damage and not having to switch sets, but you can do whatever you want. There's plenty of attribute combinations you can do. Just find what you're doing and just do it with and invest it. So anyways, that's Veteran Magic Find. The next is Breeze and Mana Regen. Of course, them together is, well, not too bad, but one is better than the other. Can you guess it? well, neither. They're both pretty balanced. Alright, so basically, each reduces 1% for each tier of level. So basically at 10, this will reduce by 10%, at level 1, reduce by 1%. Breeze is mostly common on, well, Aurora, obviously. There's no reason to be put on it anywhere else. And Mana Region's mostly common on Hollow Armor with Mana Pool, because it's the cheaper budget set, and I have a feeling that might be meta in an upcoming update. The Mana Region can also be found with like any other attributes, like defensive ones, like Ender Resistance or Iron Resistance, or any other resistance ones, and we'll get into that in a bit. Or just Vitality in general, that also is helpful. But you can basically combine Mana Region with anything, and it'll be still very useful. You just have to have a lot of Mana Region for it to be in effect. Same thing as Breeze, because for example, I mean, I'm not going to go over Mana Region, but we can just demonstrate Breeze. Like, if I go ahead and if I need to get hit by, so basically this costs 150 mana normally, and this costs 39 mana. This is how good Breeze is. Although it is Breeze 74, it's an expensive setup. But one thing about the Breeze setup is that you get most of your mana back. 3 mana still very powerful, but only do it if you're gonna want to dump billions onto it. Anyways, so that's Breeze, and Mana Regen is, well, just regens mana faster. The only downside to Breeze is that this is objectively better than Mana Regen, but you cannot be hit, so it's more common for people to use Mana Regen than Breeze. Well, people just don't use Mana Regen at all, which is what I prefer, Dom and P. But Mana Regen is more common on, well, Aurora Armor, because, actually, it's common on mostly everything that you can combine Mana Regen with. I mean, Lifeline only has one good role, and that's Terror Mana Pool, Lifeline Mana Pool, and basically a lot of people just combine whatever the hell they want with the Lifeline, but mostly of the time, Mana Regen is combined with mostly anything that you want. Same thing with Dominance or Magic Vine. It can also be Mana Regen Veteran, Mana Regen Magic Vine, but there's a whole ton of list of attributes you can use with that. But anyways, alright, and of course the defensive ones, or the ones that actually affect you, is, well, Vitality, Health Regen, and of course the Breeze, and of course the defensive like Arachno and, well, Ender Resistance. I really don't have any Vitality sets, ironically, because I'm not usually worried about defensive, but if I go to my island, I can just show you all this stuff. So basically Vitality, let's just put that away so I don't waste arrows. So Vitality just increases your overall healing. So if we go ahead, head over here, and yeah, it just multiplies all your healing. This is really great outside of dungeons. I do not recommend it for in dungeons because there is a set of equipment you can use, but I'm not here to go over dungeons. Maybe some other day. And health regen isn't actually that strong because, I mean, I prefer to not use it. So, what is it? Health regen, base regen takes 1% of max. Ow. Okay, so okay, that's actually kind of shit. 61 health per second. Yeah, that's really not that good. Yeah, it's really not super strong health regen. I really wouldn't recommend putting on anything. But Vitality is really strong because of Siphon. Because, well, that obviously gives health regen and, of course, life steal, or anything that has anything to deal with healing is really strong with Vitality. Yeah, and of course, what about the defensive? Well, there are, so for example, Arachno Resistance. I don't know why anybody would use that. Let's find an actually good one. But where is Ender Resistance? There we go. There is a weird bug apparently where instead of giving +6 defense against stuff, like for example, it would actually be a % buff. So this is very strong against Ema now, because, well, a lot of people are now running defensive, like Ender Resistance, like For example, mana regen Ender resistance for Aurora, or they would just do like anything with Ender resistance because, well, people are not the greatest, but Ender resistance is, well, pretty good against, well, human, obviously. And of course Fortitude, the one I haven't talked about, it's kinda shit, honestly. I don't know why on earth anybody would use this. I don't know if it's good or not. Oh, and also the only defensive one you should really worry about is blazing resistance, I guess. Blazing resistance is pretty good, and the Akuja fight and Ender resistance is pretty good on the end. And there is no other reason why you would use any of the Ender resistance shards. It's just those two are the most optimal because, well, that's where everything deals the most damage, obviously. So, yeah. Both really good shards, and Fortitude just sucks, honestly. And yes, I know there's other attributes I haven't gone over. Most of the melees are kind of shit. Mana Steel is okay, but it's just have like Mana Steel enchant on it. I don't even know why it's even called Mana Steel in the first place. Mana Steel, right? Yeah, Mana Steel. It's not too bad. It's a stronger normal Mana Steel, I would presume. So yeah. Yeah, it's stronger Mana Steel, but I just prefer like the normal Mana Steel enchant, and it's already pretty strong, so there's no reason not to. So anyways, that's this video. Hopefully this video helped. I know it's more of a longer video. It's like, oh yeah, this is what you do with each. But I mean, it kind of is what it is. So, and also yes, there are god rolls where they're expensive, but you don't have to use every single the best roll. You can actually combine some of the other attributes. For example, if you want more damage, you can always optimize for damage. And no, Lifeline does not stack with Dom, if that's what you're wondering, because it's literally just separate things. Because Dom is at full health, Lifeline is at lower, so you can never actually use both of them. So, yeah. So anyways, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you liked and subscribed and whatnot, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. I would like to make more videos like this. But anyways, I'll see you next video, and peace.